Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of Floxus, and here we are with the 8th part of Python Bootcamp course, and today we are going to see about modules in Python. So let's start. So our agenda of today's session, like we are going to see about what is modules in Python, how we can create a module, uh, how we can use that module, like how, and also how we can name the module. We can how we can use the built-in modules that are already there in Python. Then also we are going to see about the directory function that is used to check out the functions inside a module. So we are going to see about it, and packages. Okay, so we are going to see about all the built-in modules that are very important one, and also we are going to code it. So let's start. So basically, what are modules? Okay, so yeah, let's just start with it. Hmm. So, like whenever we create a module, okay, it can be there are so many built-in modules also, but we can also create a module by just naming our file as whatever the name of the file, okay, Python file, and then .py, okay. By this, we can create a module. It's as simple as that, okay. A module is a file consisting of Python code, okay. A module can define functions. We know that we can define a function inside a Python file. Classes are there, and then variables. And I hope these topics are clear now, because we have already covered these topics in our like last video. I guess we have covered about functions and then classes. So a module can also include runnable code. Okay. So we are going to see about it. Also, now there is one question that you must be having, like what is the difference between script and module? Like why sometimes we call it, like whenever we are writing a code, we call it like we are writing on a script, okay, or this is a script, okay. And sometimes, like now we are telling that yeah, .py files are actually the modules, okay. So now what is the difference? Just think about it, because I'm going to tell you. Just think about it, and if you know it, then write down in the comment section, okay. Or else just give some time to yourself and think about it, okay. So yeah, let's just continue. I'm going to come on this topic later, okay. A file containing a set of functions you want to include in your application. So basically, there's one more advantage of this module. Basically, we can use this modules, okay, even in like all the built-in modules, or you can say any module that you are creating, you can use it in your application, okay. You can create the functions inside it, and you can use it in your application. Okay, so a module is a Python file that generally has only definition of variables, function, classes, same like this. Okay, some Python modules are written in languages other than Python. So there are some, like we know that there are so many languages: C, C++, Java. Okay, so some Python modules are also written in languages other than Python, and most commonly they are written in C or C++. Such a module is called extension module. So this is a very important definition. Sometimes we have some modules that are written in other languages than Python. Okay. So now coming back to this, like what is the difference between script and module? Like why we are calling it, like when to use these. Okay. So let me just explain it. So basically, the main difference between module and script is like inside a module, okay, inside the Python file that we call it as a module, inside that we generally we generally code the thing that we don't want to print, okay. Basically, we code for a class, okay, we code for a function, okay, usually, okay, we do this, and we don't call it, okay. So you know that whenever we create any class, or whenever we create any function, if we don't call it, okay, then it will not be executed, okay. So like this function, okay, we know that if I create any function, if I will call it, then only that the compiler will execute it, okay. So inside module, we usually code all those statements which we want to use in any other file, or basically in a script. Okay, so basically what we do in a script, we usually code for which we want some output. Okay, so we are going to see about it how it actually happens. And you can use these words interchangeably. It is not like there's no main difference between module and script, but usually it is used like that. Okay, for like modules are used so that we can use them in any other file, in any other Python file, mainly in script. Okay, and inside a script we usually have any print function, or we have those, like we need to have an output of that file. Okay, so yeah, and one more difference is there. Usually whenever we create a module, okay, so the file name of that Python file, okay, the file name is known as the module name. Okay, so we will call it as the module name. Okay, but inside a script, okay, if we have a script, the Python file, the name will be main. Okay, it will be main. So that's the difference usually. Okay, we are going to see about it when we use the concept of the script. Okay, so that's the main difference. Usually inside module we write the code that we want to use in any other Python file, and inside a script we usually code, uh, and we have an output for that code. Okay, so yeah, and also any Python module may be executed as a script. Okay, we can use any Python module like a script. Okay, so yeah, that's the main difference. And so I guess this concept is clear for you. And yeah, let's go to how we can create a module. So basically, for creating a module, you have to just create, like you have to name a file as whatever the module name you want it to be, just the same like file name. Okay, file name and then .py, that will tell us that it is a Python file, and inside that whatever code or whatever function or class we want to have. Okay, so this is a basic definition of like a function has been created with a parameter as name. Okay, and there's a print function, and we know that this if we write this statement, okay, inside, and we run it. Okay, if I run this Python file, that is my module.py, then nothing will happen. Like in terminal, no output will be there. Why? Because this function is not getting called. We will call it, or we will use it in any other file. Okay, and how we will use it, let's just check that. Okay, so this is the way how you can create a module. Let's just check how we can use this module in any other file. Okay, so using a module, usually we can use any module by using this keyword, that is import. Import is a keyword to, as the name suggests, it is used to import any module. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using this import keyword and then the module name. You don't have to write .py because it is known there. Okay, it is known that you are importing a module. Okay, so just write import and then module name. Okay, and then just like I want to use that specific function inside that module. That is, here you can see I have a function. Wait a second. I have a function that is greeting. Okay, the name of the function is greeting, and I want to use that specific function. So what I will do, I will, yeah, I will write my module, that is the module name dot, whatever the module name is, module name dot, and then the function name. Okay, function name. Okay, just calling that function. And also what we are doing here, you can see we are passing the argument. If you remember how we used to call any function, because here you can see, if you see here inside this module, we want like there is a parameter defined, so obviously we need to pass the argument inside this function whenever we will call it. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm calling this function okay, inside any other file. I'm not doing it inside the my module file, okay. I'm calling it from any other file, okay. So what I have done, I'm writing the module name dot the function and then passing the argument. So now what will happen, if I run this file, whatever the file of this name of this file is, like suppose the file name is my file, okay, suppose my file or script, okay. So I run it, okay. Now the output will be what, you can see what is the statement that is here. So it is hello and then name. So you can see this name, whatever the value that we are, Jonathan, okay, it will be passed here and it will be printed. You can check it out, okay. So this is how a simple module you can create by yourself, okay. Now you can simply create a module. You can use that module in any other application you want to use it as, okay. Now that also help us to like reusability of that specific code. Now I don't have to use that or I have to write this function repeatedly, okay. I can just import the module and I can use it anywhere in the like in any file, okay, in any Python file or script, okay. So I hope now the concept of script and module is clear. Here you can see what is happening in this module. I'm not printing anything, okay. So now if I run my module.py, nothing will be printed, okay, or there will be no output, okay. So that's how and also we can use this module as a script too, okay. So yeah, we have also seen that how we can use a module by using the uh, import and then module name. Also we can change the name of the module, and that's very important one. Like sometimes what happens, we create a module name and I want to like I want to use some other name, okay. I want to rename that module, okay. So what you can do, you can just write import whatever the name is, okay. I will just show you that. Import my module, suppose, okay. Import my module as, and whatever the name that you want it to be, like suppose I write my, okay. Import my module as my. Now what will happen, wherever you need to like write this module name, you can just simply write my dot and then call the function greeting and then pass any argument, okay. So that's the simple way how you can rename your module file, okay. You can just simply rename it. So now how you can create a variable. So also we know that inside a module you can usually have a class, you can have a function, you can create a variable, okay. So you can see there here we have a dictionary. If you remember, like we know that inside a sequence we have list, tuple, dictionary and set. So this is an example of dictionary and we are creating it inside my module.py. And you can see what is happening, and I want to use this variable. So what I will do, I will simply call this module first, import the module first, because if I'm using it in any other script, okay, so first I need to import it, and then what I'm doing, I'm calling that dictionary name. What is this format, what is the syntax of writing the or printing any value of a dictionary? We know that dictionary name, okay, whatever the dictionary name is, suppose dict, okay. And then we are calling the key value. If you remember, whatever the key is, we call that, okay. We just use like this key, and then we just write like this. So if you remember, it used to pass the value, it used to print the value of this key indexed value, okay. So now what is happening here, we are first using the, if you remember, that's the syntax how you can access the variable or class or a function of a module. You can simply use the module name, that is my module, okay. My module dot, and then I want to access the dictionary variable. So whatever the dictionary name is, it was person 1, okay, person 1. And then the key was the key value, if you remember, the key is age, okay. Now what will be printed, print a, I am writing here, okay. That is our script. Now you can see what will be printed here. So you can see age is our key. Okay, if you remember the format or the syntax of a dictionary, so we were having a key value pair. So here now what will happen, this person one, inside this person one we will go for age, and then 36 will be printed. Okay, so that's the simple way. If you are clear with the concept of dictionary, then you will not be having any problem with this. Okay, now also we can name, I've already explained this part, that is naming a module. Import my module as mx. Suppose now I can simply write mx in place of my module. Okay, that's the simple way how you can rename a module. Okay, also you can like in place of this, like suppose like writing, always writing this mx dot and then whatever the variable name or suppose the function name, sometimes it becomes irritating, or you are like you are not used to it, so it becomes difficult for the user to write it, okay, for the coder. So you can also use this from keyword. It helps us to understand basically. So from basically tells us that from my module, whatever the module name is, import my function. Okay, whatever the function you have defined. Now this statement will tell the compiler that what we are doing, we are going to the my module file, that is the module, and we are going to use the my function or the function that is being created inside that module. Okay, so you can see now you can just simply use this my function. You don't have to write now like this my module dot my function. You don't have to call the function like this. You can simply write now my function, and then you can call it. Okay, or pass any argument to it. Okay, that's how, that's so simple, and you don't have to like you will not get confused in this case. Okay, but for some user it is helpful by just using this dot uh, keyword. Okay, and also if you want to import all the variables, all the class, all the functions of a module, you can simply use star. Okay, the star basically tells us all the value. Okay, all the values. So what we are doing, we are simply importing everything from my module, and by this we don't have to write this format, that is my module dot function. Okay, you don't have to write this my module dot, you can directly write function and you can call it. Okay, so this makes our work more easier. Okay, and we tell the compiler that yeah, you don't have to like we are just importing everything from my module. Okay, so yeah, I guess now it is clear to everyone. Now there are so many built-in modules, let's just see that. Okay, so basically, built-in modules are all those modules that are already present in Python. Okay, you can simply use them. You can directly import them like you usually do with modules that you create. There's the same way you can write. Like here, you can see import platform. Now, platform is a built-in module, and it is basically used, or it tells you it is used to retrieve as much possible information about the platform on which the program is being currently executed. Okay, it will basically give you some information about the platform that on which you are using, you are coding. Okay, you are performing the execution. Okay, so yeah, like here you can see what is being done. Import platform, the module, built-in module has been imported. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm calling a function inside that platform. Like there is a function. Also, there is a way you can know that inside a specific module, what are the functions that are there. There is a function, there is a built-in function for that. We are going to tell you. So basically, this system, okay, this system function will tell us the about the system on which we are executing this code. Okay, so what I'm doing, or what is happening in this code, basically I'm importing the platform module, that is the built-in module, and then I'm calling the function, that is system function, and that will tell us, or that will print the like in this script what will be printed? The it will print about the system on which we are executing. Okay, so yeah, that's what happening here. Let me just erase it. Okay, so now we are going to see about this dir function. So basically in modules, we can use this dir function to actually know about all the modules, or you can say all the functions that are inside that module that we have created. Like sometimes it becomes difficult to go back and check all those functions and variables that we have created inside the module that we have created it. Okay, so like it becomes difficult to go from the script that we are using and go back to that module and just check it out again and again. So what we can do, we can just use this dir function, and then we can like it returns all properties and methods of the specified object, okay, without the values. This function will return all the properties and methods, even built-in properties, which are default for all objects. Okay, so we are going to code it. So at that time, I will show you that how there are some built-in modules or built-in properties that are there, that we don't see it, but they are actually there inside that module. Okay, with that modules. Okay, so basically we can use this. Okay, we can use it to list all the function names or variable names in a module. Okay, so you can see this is a built-in module, we know it. Okay, this platform module. You and I want to check what are the functions that are there inside this platform module. Okay, so what I can do, I will just pass it inside this built-in function, that is dir, and I will store it inside this variable, and it will return a list of all the functions and variables that are inside this platform. Okay, so basically there are two ways in which we can use this dir built-in function. So if like suppose we are inside a module, we are executing this module. Okay, and what is happening here, I want to use this dir function. So what I can do, I can simply write dir and then I can print it. Okay, now what will happen here, it will list out all the members of current module in which we are working. Okay, like, or you can say we are working in a script. Okay, and we know that the name of the script is usually what, like, it is the main. We know that, if you remember, I have explained this, that the name of the script is basically main, and if and the name of the module is the file name whatever we have declared. Okay, so by the help of this dir built-in function, we can list out all the members of current module. Okay, then, and if I want to go back and or I want to check the function names or special variable names of any other module. Okay, like I'm here in this script or in this module and I want to check for any other module, suppose x. Okay, I want to check for this, I want to know about the function names, I want to know about the variable names inside this. Okay, so what I can do, I can pass the module name inside it, that is x. First I need to import it. Okay, we know that how we can import a module. First I will import this module inside the script. Okay, or the module, and what I can do, I can pass this module name inside this dir and then print out to list out all the members of the specified module. And there is a note, uh, where dir module, whatever the module name is passed, okay, list the name of the attributes. Okay, it lists the name of the attributes, and we know that attribute is basically what, the function or the variables that are declared inside a python file. Okay, so of that type, of that type, help dir presents more detail about each item. So there is one more that is built-in function, you can explore it. It will actually explain you or give you more detail about each item. Okay, so yeah, uh, next point, there is one important note here, and you should consider, you should you should know about it. I will explain it again. So basically this says that whenever you will use this dir, okay, whenever you will use this dir built-in function, either you pass it with the module name, or like what can be the two condition in which you can use this dir, either by passing or giving the argument to it, or just like leaving it empty. Okay, so if I leave it empty, then what I'm doing, I'm working with the current module in which we are like I'm executing. Okay, so what will happen, for every module at the time of execution, Python interpreter will add some special properties. Okay, now what happens whenever you will print this dir, there are some, like you will see there are some built-in, or you will see something like this. Okay, some names are there. Okay, like this, these are some built-in modules, okay, that are inside your Python file. Okay, and those, like for every module at the time of execution, Python interpreter will add some special properties, and those properties are shown in that list. Okay, when we print a dir, or when we print the list, then you will see some extra, like you won't be able to see that inside the code. Okay, but they are there. Okay, those are the special, like special properties or attributes automatically for internal use. You cannot use it like externally or manually. Okay, the name surrounded by basically double underscore. Okay, you will see it, double underline usually represents something that's built into Python. Okay, that we do not access directly, we cannot access it directly, and it is like inside that dir list, it is actually done by, or it is added by the interpreter. Okay, and we know that what is an interpreter, we know that Python is an interpreted language. Okay, the code or the anything that is getting executed is getting line by line executed. Okay, so that is done by interpreter, and this interpreter only add some special properties, and those properties or those attributes are being shown in that dir. I will show you when I will code it, I will show you how those those properties are looking. Okay, so we cannot access them directly, those are built in. Okay, so built into Python, these are often referred to as special variables. They are either special variables or magic methods. Okay, some built-in methods. Okay, so yeah, you can even get to know about it, like what are the things that are there inside it. So I hope now the concept of dir is clear. Let's just see how we can code. So let me just show you how we can create a module first. So I'm inside this Python file that is named like a first.py. Okay, the name of this Python file is first.py, and I'm going to use this file, this Python file, like a module. So what I will do, I'm going to create a function. So I've created a function, and I have written some code inside it. Okay, and I'm not going to call that function. Why? Because inside a module, okay, if I create a module, so the basic motive of using that module or creating a module is to use that module inside any other script or the application in which I want to use that specific function. So I'm going to just create a function or any class or any variable, and I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so it is not necessary to like code or to print anything or to give the output. So you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to show you how you can just check that whether something will be printed or not. Although we know that until and unless you call a function, it is not going to get executed. Okay, so like here compiler is not going to see what is happening inside this function, because this function is not getting called. So you can see nothing is getting printed. Okay, so now what I will do, I will use this first.py like a module. Okay, the module name will be first, and I'm going to use inside this game.py this script. Okay, so and I'm going to use this game.py like a script. Okay, so what I have done, I have first imported the file or the module. Okay, that is first, and then I'm using or I'm creating, like, yeah, let me just write this. I'm going to just use this module name dot and then the function inside that module, because I want to go to that function. I want to call that specific function inside that module. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm using the name of that module and then dot. I'm telling that yes, I want to use this specific function. Okay. So let me just run it. Okay. Game dot py. Just see here, I'm not running or I'm not executing the module. I'm actually executing the script. Okay. From where I'm calling the I'm calling the function of that module. Okay. So let's just see what is happening here. Now you can see hello Floxes is getting printed. Why it is getting printed? I'm not printing here. Like there's no statement that is printing hello Floxes. What I'm doing, I'm calling the function that is inside this module, that is the first dot py. Let me just remove this. Okay, first dot py, and this parameter, the value is getting passed here. That was like we were passing Floxes as the argument. Okay, and this is getting printed here. Okay, so this is how basically the module work. Okay, and also you can rename it. So let me just rename it like as f. Okay, so what I can do, I can just use it like this, f dot fun1. So in place of first or this name, that is the module name, I can use f as the new name of this module. Okay, and you can see it will work the same. Okay, now there's one more thing also. You can import all the functions directly. So you can just write from you can write from first import. I want to import all the functions and variables inside this module. Okay, from this module. So what I have written, from first import star. Now I don't have to call this module every time I want to use any function or any variable from that module. Okay, I don't need to call it, or I don't need to give the reference. So I can just directly use this fun1 and I'm going to call it. Okay, I don't have to tell that yes, going to that module, or tell specifying the compiler that I'm using this specific module. Okay, you can just directly import everything. Okay, now here you can see it will get executed. Okay, so now let me just show you how you can use this dir function. Okay, so I'm inside this game.py file. Okay, and yeah, so inside this script, and I have this module. Okay, and you can see let me just show you how I can what is happening if I print it or if I run it. So nothing is getting executed. So this is a module. We know that. Okay. And this game.py will work like a script. Okay. First, what I'm doing, I'm importing the module that is first. Okay. And I'm not using it. I will just show you how I can use this dir function. Okay, without passing any argument. Okay, then what will happen, it will work inside, or it will show all the members inside this python file. Okay, inside this game.py file. Okay, so let me just show you how it will work. Game.py. So here you can see there are some list of attributes that are there, and here you can see inside this only first. Okay, this module, this first name we are familiar with, we are knowing that this is visible to us and we are importing it, that's why it is written here. Okay, or that's why it is inside this list. Okay, but what are these these annotation, built-ins, cached? Okay, so these are some special variables that are actually inside this script. Okay, inside this we can say inside this module. Okay, because we are not printing anything, we are not executing anything. If I remove this print function, then it will work like a script only. Okay, if I just add some function, or you can say a class, okay, without giving some output, okay, then what will happen, it will work like a module only. Okay, so here what is happening, it is showing us some special variables or special modules. Okay, so actually this name is a special variable. We are going to even see about it. This file is a special variable. You can go and explore about each one of them, because these are very important actually, and we won't be covering about every special variables because it will be difficult. So you can go and check about them. This is very basic one. So and it will be clear, I guess. If you will read it once, then it will be clear. And still, if you are having any doubt, then you can ask it. Okay. So this dir function will actually print all the special variables or special magic methods that are inside this script. Okay, or this module. Okay, and the variables or attributes that are actually there. If I write, suppose if I write x is equal to 5, okay, and then you can see it will actually print that too. Okay, it will show the name of that too. You can see first is there and then x is also there. Why? Because this variable is getting used inside this file. Okay, but what if I pass here first? Okay, that is, I want to know about the like attributes inside this module. Okay, so what will happen? Let's just see about it. Let's just check how we can see about it. So we are going to run it. Okay, let's run this file. So what is happening? Intro is there. Okay, then built-ins, cached, same, just the same way. You can see there are some special variables that are there, and then this x, because what we can see here, you can see intro actually tells about the like class name. Okay, you can see the class name is intro, and inside that we have this function. Okay, so that's why it is actually showing only the that is the class name, because we know that we need to create an object first. Okay, to instantiate the class. Okay, so that's why it's just showing the name of the class, that is intro. Okay, and then the variable name, that is x is getting shown here inside this list. And what if I just remove this class? Okay, if I just remove this class, then you can see it will actually show us. Let me just show you. So now here you can see it is showing the function name, that is fun1 and x. Okay, the variable name. And also there are some variables that are already there, built-in variables, or you can say the built-in modules that are there inside this module. Okay, so go and explore more about these special variables. You will understand more about it. And also we are going to discuss about some of the special variables. So let's start with it. Okay, so our one of the very important special variable, that is name. You have seen it here also. You can see this name. Okay, so we are going to see about this special variable. What does it actually stores? Okay, so this special variable, that is name, yeah, so for every Python program, okay, for every Python program, a special variable name will be added internally, and we know that this is being done by the interpreter. Okay, we are not adding any special variable, okay, that is name. We are not adding it manually. It is actually done while the execution of the code. Okay, when we run it, while when the code is getting executed by the interpreter, what is happening? This variable is getting added. Okay, so this variable actually stores information regarding whether the program is executed as an individual, or you can say like a script. Okay, is it executed like a script or as a module? Now here, as an individual, it actually means that there is some output, or you can say there is something that you will see in the terminal. Okay, there will be something that is getting printed there. Okay, whatever the code is, okay, that is the individual program, and it will show us something. It's not like we are using that specific code or that specific file inside any other file, just the way we do it for the module. What we are doing, we are creating some function, we are creating some class, and we are actually using it inside any other script, okay, or any other file. Okay, so that is not getting executed as an individual program. Okay, so that's why here, it this by the help of this name, special variable name, we actually get to know about whether it is a script, whatever the file is. Okay, it is a script or a module. Okay, if the program executed as an individual program, okay, or you can say a script, like a script, then the value of the variable is main. We know that the name of the like script is actually what? It is main, and it is fixed. We know that. Okay, and what is the name of the module? it is the file name, whatever we defined. Okay, whatever the file name is, it can be x.py, it can be anything. Okay, xyz.py. So that will be the xyz part will be the name of the module. Okay, or it will be stored inside this name. Okay, so this actually shows that whether the file in which we are working, okay, it is the individual program. Okay, it is executed as like a script, or it is like a, you can say it's like a module. Okay, we will get to know about it. Okay, so if the program executed as a module from other programs, then the value of the variable is the name of the module where it is defined. We know that whatever the file name is will be the name of the module. So hence, by using the name variable, we can identify whether the program executed directly or as a module. Okay, so I hope this special variable, just the same way you can explore for every like special variable. Okay, you can get to know about it, and it's just, you can see how easy definition it is. Okay, how much easily it can help us to actually check whether in the file in which we are working is a module or a script. Okay, it is a script or a module. So if it is a script, the value of the name will be main. Okay, just remember that. Okay, that's the way how we actually identify that it is a module. Is it a module or a script? Okay, so next we are going to see about package. So let me just show you how you can actually identify that in this Python file. Like I'm working in this Python file that is game.py. So I want to know that whether it is like a script or is it a module. Okay. So what I'm doing, like I'm first importing the module that is first. Okay. And what I'm doing, I'm having one variable, I'm printing it. Okay. And then I'm using this print name. Now let me just show you what happens actually. By just seeing this, I can clearly tell that yes, it is actually a script. And if it is a script, then what will happen? It, the name, special variable name, will have the value like a main. Okay, we know that the name of this that is the special variable name will store the value, and that value will be main. Okay, so let me just show you what happens. So you can see it actually prints, or you can see main here. Okay, what does that mean? It means that it is a script. Okay, so and let me just show you for a module, and we know that for a module the name, special variable name, will store the value of the whatever the Python file name is. Okay, so you can see this is our module. We know by just seeing we can tell that yes, it is a module, because we are not printing anything directly, or we are not executing this code here. This function will be executed only when it is called. So I'm just as I have imported this module, and now what I will do, I will just call this function. Okay, now first what I am doing, I'm specifying the module name, and then inside that module name I'm calling the function. Okay, whatever the function is, suppose this is the function. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm calling this, and as here you can see inside this function we need one parameter. There is one parameter x, so we need to pass one value. So I'm passing the value of x, that is 5. Okay, so by just calling that function, what will happen? This line will also get executed. Now let me just show you what happens. This line actually prints that whether it is the, like, it will tell if it prints main, then that means it is like a script. Okay, and if it prints the file name, that is the Python file name, then that means it is working like a module. Okay, so let me just run. So which file we need to run? We need to run actually the game.py file. Okay, so let me just run that. So yeah, game.py, and you can see what I'm doing. Let me just remove this. We don't need this. I just want to call this function of that module. Okay, so you can see first is getting printed, because here you can see inside this Python, inside this file, we have this fun1 function, and what we are doing, we are printing the name, that is special variable name. So it stores the file name, that is first, okay, and it is getting printed. That means what? It is actually working like a module, and interpreter knows it, okay. So here you can see how by the help of special variable you can actually identify that the file in which you're working is like a module, or it is like a, or is it like a script, okay. So that's how this special variable actually work. Now let's move to package. Now this package is actually it's just the same like a directory, okay. You can actually uh, call it like a directory, but only difference is that only thing that is different from a directory is that there is one init.py file, okay. You can see it looks something like this. It is actually an empty file, okay, but there is a purpose of that file, okay. And it actually tells us that yes, it is a package, not a normal directory, okay. So that makes it different from any other normal directory, okay. A package is actually a directory with an init.py file, okay. So if someone asks you, okay, if someone asks you that what is the difference between a package and a directory, then you can just tell them that a package is actually a collection, or you can say it, yeah, it is actually a collection of modules, okay, Python modules. So and it is in form of what? It is in form of directory, okay. So you can call it like it is the combination of directory having a, like there is one init.py file inside it, okay. So yeah, a package is a collection of Python modules, okay. Till now what we were doing, we were creating some module ads, or there were some built-in modules that were there. But now what we will do, we can even create it, or we can use the built-in modules, okay. But inside this package we can actually have many modules, okay. We can create it, or we can use the built-in ones, okay. So actually, this package is a collection of modules, Python modules. While module is a single Python file, we know that a package is a directory of Python modules. Okay, it is a directory, or you can say a collection of Python modules with one special Python file, and that Python file is what? It is init.py. This point is very important. Okay, init.py file is very important, which makes this package different from any other directory. To distinguish a package from a directory, that just happens to contain a bunch of Python scripts, okay. So that's make it different from any other common directory, okay. Now this file can be empty, okay, it can be empty, and it indicates that the directory it contains is a Python package, okay. It actually being used like a, to differentiate it from any other directory, okay. So it can be imported the same way a module can be imported. We can use a package, okay. We can use a package just the same way we were using or we were importing a module, okay. It's just the same way. The only thing is that a package is actually a collection of so many modules, okay, as much as you want. But the only thing is that you need to have this special init.py file, okay, and this makes it different from any other directory, okay. I hope this is clear to you all. Let's just check how you can actually create a Python package, okay. So this is very interesting because till now what we were doing, we were actually importing the modules one by one, we were using it, we were naming it. But now you can do what we can do, we can use a bunch of modules and you can just import it directly, okay. So yes, Python requires that a directory contain an init.py file before it can be recognized as a package. We know that. So the init.py file is automatically executed by Python. Now, if you remember, I have already explained this, that whenever we create a class, okay, whenever we create a class inside a Python, okay, inside a Python file, what happens? When we create an instance of that class, okay, or we call that class, suppose I create an instance, or you can say I create an object of that class, and the class name is suppose car, okay. So what I do, I just instantiate it, or I create an object. So if you remember, I've already explained that there is one function that is init. If you remember, I've already explained that this init function is actually, what is that? It is actually being called automatically whenever a class is getting instantiated. If you remember, I've already explained that you can actually manually define this function that is init, or it is actually there inside this class. Okay, and it is getting called whenever the class is getting instantiated. Just remember that point. Just the same way, when we have this package and whenever we import it or whenever we use it, okay, so what happens, this is automatically executed by the Python the first time a package or sub package is loaded. Okay, the same way this init.py is automatically executed. Like the way here, when we saw the concept of class, we have this init function and it was automatically being called. We were actually using it, or we were actually manually defining that function sometimes, or you can even leave it, but it was called automatically by the interpreter. If you remember that concept, okay, you can just go and watch it again if you are having doubt there. So just the same way, in the case of Python package, this Python file that is init.py is getting called, okay, or you can say it is getting executed whenever the package or sub package is loaded. Okay, this execution permits whatever package initialization we desire. Okay, now let me just show you how it actually work. Like suppose this is a desktop and we are creating one, you can say a folder. Okay, and the folder name is calculate package. Okay, calco package, and inside this I have some Python file. You can see, just by just seeing you can understand that this is a Python file. Okay, this is a Python file, you know that. But here someone special is there, and that someone special makes this directory a package. Now tell me, what is that special file? This special file is actually the one which makes it different from any other directory, and it is the init.py file. Okay, it can be empty. Okay, no worries about it, but the only thing is that it should be there. Okay, and we know that whenever we will import this package, or you can say this, yeah, this directory, what will happen, this init.py will get executed. Okay, so I hope now this how we can create a Python package is clear to you all. Okay, so yeah, let's just move to next slide. Yeah, how we can import the package. Okay, let me just explain that. It's just the same way how we used to import a module. It's same like that. First, invoke the Python prompt from the calc package, whatever the directory name is. So this is what we are using, like the directory name. Okay, and folder, you can say the folder, or make a new Python file in the same directory. Okay, so what we are doing, either you can just invoke it, or you can just, here you can see how we can do it. Okay, now use from the calco package, import calculator power to import the modules present in the package. Now first what we need to do, we need to actually import, like you can write like this, from this file, this package name, that is calco package. Okay, it is actually calculation package. Okay, from calco package import. Now we can do what, we can actually import the modules that we want. Now sometimes what happen, we have the package, we know that package is a collection of modules. Now I want some specific modules, so you can actually define those specific modules only. Like here you can see, let me just show you. So here you can see, inside this I have calculator module, then I have power module. So I want to use only power. So what I can do, from calco package, okay, so import this power module. Okay, so only this module will be imported. Just the same way you can see what I'm doing, importing, first writing from calco package, that means I'm actually invoking this package. Okay, I'm telling the interpreter that just go to that package, and then from inside that package you need to import these modules, that is calculator and power, to import the modules present in the package. We can also directly import the package using import calco package. Now if you want to import all the modules inside of that package, okay, so you just need to write import and then whatever the directory or the package name is. Okay, I won't say it, I won't call it a directory, because it is actually different from a directory, and I hope now it is clear to you all. Okay, now if someone asks you that what is the difference between a directory that usually collects, or you have the collection of some Python files or scripts, or and what is the difference between a directory and a package, then I hope now you can clearly explain them then that what is the difference. Okay, so you can just directly write the package name. Okay, so by this what will happen, all the modules will be imported. Okay, and you don't have to actually define the which module you want to work with. Okay, so now access the entities of the modules, you can actually access the entities of the modules. Okay, now here you can see this is the simple way how you can do it. From the whatever the package name is, import the module name. And also what I'm doing, I'm using like this calculator, I'm using this module name and I'm renaming it. If you remember, I have done the same thing inside the module. We have done the same thing, the same part. We are actually renaming it. This is called rename. Okay. We are renaming this module name as cal. Now, whenever I want to use this calculator module, okay, I will write this cal. Okay. Cal as its name. Okay. And also, I want to import one more module, that is power. Okay. I'm not renaming it. So this is how you can actually import it. You can rename it. So what we are doing, we are actually using printing the functions, or you can say, yeah, we are actually calling the, that is cal module, and then inside that we have this function that is add, and we are passing two values. This function will get executed and the value will be printed. Then we have this power module, and inside that we have this function. Now I hope you, by just seeing this code, you can understand how this interpreter would work and what is happening inside in backend. Okay, so yeah. Now, the very important concept, that is namespaces. Okay, inside this module topic, this namespace plays a very important role. Okay, so let's just see about it. So basically, the namespaces are used to control the variable names by making names unique to avoid ambiguity. So basically, sometimes what happens, we have created one variable, that is x is equal to 5. Now I want to use another, like, I want to store something else. Okay, but I forgot that I have used this name, okay, already. Now what I'm doing, I'm using it like in the same scope. Okay, I'm using it like this, x equal to 6, but I wanted to use it like different. Okay, like a different variable. But this will cause a problem, because what will happen, the same variable x is getting updated to 6. Okay, so it is actually causing some problems. So here comes the role of namespace, which actually define the scope. It is like a scope only. Okay, and what is, like, why it is used for, it is actually used to make names unique. Okay, unique to avoid ambiguity. Generally, when a function or module or package is evaluated, namespaces are created. Okay, so basically how this namespace is getting created, let me just explain you. Basically we have three part. Okay, let me just explain you. So uh like what we have, basically first we have this built in. Okay, built in namespace. Okay, we have built in namespace. Then we have this global namespace, global namespace, and then we have this local namespace. Okay, And I have already explained this concept inside variable also inside this scope topic, but I'm going to explain it again because it's inside a namespace and it is actually used to make like unique variable. Okay, so that there will be no ambiguity there. Okay, so let me just explain it again. Okay, so we know that now we have three, basically whenever we declare one function or whenever a module or package is getting evaluated, okay, this the all the variables are actually stored in these three parts. Okay, they are defined inside this scope. Okay, so it is actually stored like a dictionary. It is a dictionary which contains the variable names as key. Okay, whatever the, like suppose I'm storing like this x equal to 5. So this x will work like a key. Okay, and this value, okay, this value or the object as value. Okay, this will work like a value. Okay, so namespace can be built-in namespace or global namespace or local namespace. Whenever you declare any variable or whenever we actually execute or evaluate a function or module or package, so inside that whatever the variables or the arguments that are being passed, okay, those are actually stored inside, like either they are inside this built-in namespace or global namespace or local namespace. Now what is this local namespace? As the name suggests, I have already explained in the scope also, that is local scope. What was happening there? It was actually defined inside any function or a class. Like suppose as the name suggests, it is specific to a current function. Okay, any scope, that is like suppose I have created a function def fun1, and then I'm defining inside this, I'm having x equal to 5. So this is local. Okay, this variable is actually inside a local namespace. Okay, it is actually valid only inside this function. Okay, I cannot use this outside this. Okay, outside this function directly I cannot write like this x is equal to or print x. Okay, it will show some error or it will show that this variable is not defined. Okay, the interpreter will not understand it. You need to call that function, you need to like execute it inside that function. Okay, now comes the role of global namespace. So, as the name global suggests, it simply means that it is specific to the current module. Now, inside this Python file, I've declared it at the starting only, or like I'm not defining this variable inside any class or any function. Okay, I'm not defining it inside any scope. Okay, I'm just initializing it inside the module. Okay, directly. So what is happening? It will be stored in the global namespace. Okay, global namespace, and we know that it will be stored like a dictionary, that is key value pair. Okay, here the variable is defined outside of a function or a class. Okay, and we can directly use this global variables. Okay, we can directly use it. We don't have to actually like call any function, or we don't have to write any, like we don't have to create an object for it. Okay, you can directly print it. So let me just explain it by a code. So you can see what I'm doing. I've created a variable that is number equal to 5. I've started one function. Okay, and inside this I have this statement that is print and num into that is num to the power step. If you remember, this is for, like this was what it was actually for power, it was like num to the power step. Okay, it was something like this if you remember. Okay, it was actually for exponential. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm calling this function. So interpreter will first come here, then it will see that yes, this function is actually getting called. So then it will go and execute this function. Okay. Now here you can directly understand that what is happening here. This number equal to 5 is actually defined globally. So it will be stored inside global namespace. This variable will be actually stored inside global namespace like a dictionary. Okay. Now this function has been declared, and inside this function we have this num and this step. Okay, these variables will be only be valid inside this function. Okay, inside this square function. So what does that mean? It means it is defined locally, or you can say it is the variables will be stored like inside the local namespace. I hope this is clear because it is very easy concept, but it is a bit confusing and it is asked very like frequently. Okay, you should have the concept clear. Okay, so here number equal to 5 is global variable and it is stored global in global namespace, and num and step that is inside this function are local variables. Okay, so there are some built-in that is built-in functions also that those are defined inside built-in namespace. So I hope the concept of that is namespace is clear now. And let's just see how we can actually find out what are the functions that are or what are the variables that are defined globally and what are the variables and functions that are defined locally. Okay, so these are some built-in functions that we can use to actually identify. These will return the names of the global and local namespaces, okay, depending on the location of its usage. Okay. So actually by the help of these two functions, these two built-in functions, we can actually tell that like which are the variables or which are the values that are actually inside the global namespace and local namespace. Locals function returns the dictionary which contains all the numbers that are locally accessible, and globals are globally accessible. So let me just show you how we can actually implement it. So let me just show you here inside this script. Okay. So I have this, like I have imported this module that is first, and I have this variable that is x is equal to 5. And I know that this is a global variable. Okay. This will be stored inside the global namespace. Okay. So, and this module also. Let me just show you that, like by printing this print globals, what will happen. So we know that it will actually print a dictionary. Okay. So let me just show you game.py. I will run it. Okay. So you can see a dictionary has been printed, and inside this you can see the value is getting printed like a key value pair. Okay. So this is the key, that is the variable in which the value is main, that is it is working like a script. Okay. We know that. Then doc, that is, these are the special variables. If you remember, I have already explained when we print the dir or we use this dir function, we actually gets the that is the key of these dictionary. Okay, the key of this dictionary was printed there. Okay, now we have the key value pair. Okay, that is doc none, package none, then loader, you can see. So you can go and explore about all this. Okay, so let me just show you how actually the main thing is getting shown here. You can see this first. First is actually showing us that it is the module first from, and then the directory. Okay, that is from where the path actually getting shown here. Okay, it is actually seen that from where actually this module is getting used. Okay, so this is how actually it is working. You can see in the global namespace these variables are getting used. I will also show you how you can actually check for the local variable. Like if I create one function, suppose fun1. Okay, and then what I'm doing, I'm actually using like suppose I'm using print something local. Okay. So here what I'm doing, I've created a function, okay, and inside that what I'm doing, I'm using this locals, okay, locals function. What it will do, it will actually, this locals, what it was doing, it was actually returning the variables or the functions that are actually defined locally, okay, or in the local namespace. So let me just show you. If I call this function, so what happens? You can see local is getting printed first, and then locals, inside this locals dictionary we have only one variable. Okay, that is stored in the local namespace, and in the dictionary we have y and the value is 7. Okay, now in the same page, in the same position, if we use that is global, although what we are doing, we are actually using inside this function. Okay, we know that. And what we actually what it should actually happen in, like whatever is happening, whatever is getting assigned inside this function, it is actually used, or it is having the scope of only this function. But this globals, okay, this globals function will actually return all the variables, okay, that is defined globally, or that is defined in the global namespace. So let me just show you. So you can see all the variables are getting printed here in the dictionary format, and all the functions also, that are all the attributes that are there inside this module. Okay, and with the value also, even the path is also defined, okay, from where it is getting imported. Like if a module is getting imported, then from where it is getting imported, the path is also defined. Okay, so this is how the global and local namespace is getting used. Okay, we can use it to actually understand like the scope of the, or in which namespace it is getting stored, the variables. Okay, so next we have sys modules. Okay, system module. So now this sys module, it is a built-in module. It actually helps us. It is for controlling and interacting with the Python interpreter. Okay. So like sometimes what happens, we need to actually manually like we need to, sometimes we need to manually terminate the terminal. Okay. We want to exit or we need to like end the uh, like interpreter. Okay. We need to manually exit. Okay, so at that time we can use the functions that are inside this module. Okay, so there are so many functions that are defined inside it. We are going to see about it. It includes information about the operating system. We can also get to know about the operating system on which we are executing the code, and the version of the Python you are using. So for this, for using this module, just the same way we used to import any other module, you can just write import sys and the module will be imported. You can use, or you can even find what are the functions that are inside this module, and then you can like you can get to know about those functions, and you can use it. Okay, so how we can get to know about the functions that are, or the attributes that are inside this sys module? You can use dir, and then you can pass this module name, and it will show you all the like all the special variables, or you can say the functions that are inside this module. Okay, so to work with a feature of sys module, type sys and then dot and then the name of the function. So just the same like this, whatever the module name is, then dot, and then whatever the function that you want to use. So this exit will actually terminate the terminal. Okay, it will end the uh, like it will end the, it will stop the execution. Okay, manually. So let's just see what are the important functions that are inside this sys module, and you can see. So we have the sys.exit. So tells the Python interpreter to quit. Okay, it actually stops it. Okay, it's the most direct way to end a Python script while it's running. Like although after that, like suppose I have written sys.exit, and after that also we have some code. But what happens, as soon as the interpreter sees this command, okay, it will actually stop. After that it will not execute those code. Okay, so that's the use of this sys.exit, this exit function. It will actually stop it. Okay, then we have sys.argv. Okay, it stores any command line arguments passed when you started Python. Okay, it's basically also includes the name of the program you are running. Okay, so basically we are going to code it. So at that time I will show you. It actually shows the name of the program you are running and the command line arguments passed. Okay, then this sdd in, it is very simple. It is used to take the input, okay, used by the input function, except input from user. Okay, it is very like easy. It is actually also used in the same way we use in like C++. It is C in. Okay, the same way this sdd in is used to take the input from user. Then stdio is actually used for output. Okay, it is to show the print to the screen any value that you need to print. Then you can use this stdio used by the print function. Okay, then stderr, actually it is error. Okay, this err actually shows the error. Okay, it is the short form of error. This io actually is for output. Then n is for input. Okay, then stores error messages. Okay, so let me just show you so that it will be more clear. Let's just do some practicals. Okay, so that it will be a bit interesting. You will actually know about it when you create any project. You can actually use these functions. Okay, so I have imported this sys module. Okay, and now what I am doing, like, let me just, okay, so what will happen, let me just show you. So it is actually showing us the path. Okay, in which, or the, you can say the, in which we are working in game.py. So it is showing in which path it is actually stored. It is showing the directory, the folder name, the file name inside which we are working. Okay, now this sys.stdin.readline. Okay, so basically this stdin is used by the interpreter for standard input. Okay, internally it calls the input function. Okay, so basically, like, here you can see what I'm using, this read line function from stdin that is inside this sys module. Okay, so let me just show you how we can do this. So I have like, I'm running this Python file game.py. Now it, this cursor is actually blinking. It tells us to input something. Okay, it is asking the user to give some value. So what I'm doing, I'm giving the value. So it is actually used to take the input, okay, from the user. Same for standard output. Now to, like, for like printing something, you can use this sys.stdout. Like the same way we were using to take the input, we were writing standard input. The same way we have stdout, that is standard output. Dot, we have this like, you can see what are the things that is there. So we have this write. Okay, there is a write function inside which we can write hello. Like, suppose if I write hello, so it will actually get printed. So you can see how you can actually use this to like, to give the output or to print anything in the screen. Okay, so in this slide there is one mistake here. There will be std out. Okay, there will be std out, that means standard output. This is standard input. Okay, standard input. Okay, it is the shortcut of standard input. Okay, that is used to actually print something. Std out is used to print something. Okay, and stderr is actually for the error messages. Okay, so go and explore more so that it will be more clear to you all. And let's just end this with the last topic, that is OS and sub process modules. So this is one of the very important module, and it is actually like, it is going to tell you about the operating system in which you are working. So the OS and sub process module include code that lets Python work with your operating system. Like in the last, like, sys module, it was actually allowing us to work with the interpreter. It was allowing us to take the input in the interpreter, in the terminal. We were actually giving the input in the command line. Okay, but by the help of this, like, OS module, we can actually work with like, with the operating system. They even run operating system command. Okay, so we can actually use the command line prompt of the, like, of our operating system, and we can work with it. Okay, so the OS module is best for the following task: work with the paths and permissions. Okay, so like, suppose we have this Python file. Okay, and like, we can actually modify the path. Okay, if you want to change the path of the file that you are working, you need to transfer it to any other folder, suppose. So you can actually do it by the help of this OS module. Okay, so test for access to a path, changing directories, changing access permission. Okay, and group IDs. Okay, then working with the file, like suppose you need to go to another file, you can actually use this OS module to actually switch to another Python file. You can do that. Open and close, write, then truncate and create links. By the help of this OS module, you can do so many things. You can see the features of this OS module. The sub process module, this one, okay, lets you safely interact with the operating system to run commands and get information out of them. Okay, so it is like, I hope now it is clear that how you can actually use this, and I'm not going much deep into it uh because in this course actually it's the basic course, and I want you to give you the idea about these modules, because there are so many built-in modules and it is not possible to cover all of them, but I've tried to cover almost the most important ones, so that the concept of path, directories, how you can actually change the path, you can get the idea about it. Okay, so like now I hope now you are clear with like, suppose in which operating system you are working, you are working on Windows. Okay, now inside that you are inside a Python file. Okay, and you need to go to another Python file, then by the help of this OS module you can actually do that. Okay, so there are some functions, important functions I'm going to tell. You can even explore it by the use of dir function, and then passing this OS module, you will get to know about all the important functions that are, all the attributes that are inside this OS module. Okay, so let me just tell you some important functions that are there inside this OS module. So there's one system, okay, it is executing a shell command. Okay, it is used for executing a shell command. Then environ, it is get the user's environment. Okay, now if you will check, then whenever you install Python, okay, there is one like set environment or set path. Okay, there is one option there. If you are a beginner, then there will be a problem. You can go and explore in your PC. There is an environment that is set, like if you create a Python or if you install a Python, there will be an environment that is set to execute or to run that run a Python file. Okay, that's called os.environment. You can check it. Then os.get cwd, it returns the current working directory. Okay, it will return the directory on which you are working. Then get PID, it returns the real process ID of the current process. Then os.name, that is return information identifying the current operating system, like it will tell you about the on which operating system you are actually executing the code. Then list dir, and then path, if you like pass the argument of like if you pass the path, okay, inside this function, then it will return a list of the entries in the directory given by the path. Okay, so you like, let me, I will explain you about all this by just we will do the practical of these functions. I will try to make you familiar with these functions. Then make dir, it create, actually it is mkdir, it is the short form of make directory. Okay, make directory, it is used to actually create directory named path with numeric mode. Okay, then remove path, it is remove the like if you want to remove any file path. Okay, if you want to remove any file, then you can use this. Okay, you can just pass the path. Now what is a path? If you are not knowing that, then I will tell you about that too. Okay, don't worry. Path is basically, if you remember in the when I was printing the, like in the dictionary also I was showing, when we used to print the namespace. Okay, inside that dictionary we were having a path of a module. Okay, from where it is actually getting imported, that is, it was something looking like this, c dot dot then slash slash, and then the inside which folder it is actually stored. So it was actually a path. Okay, that is called a path. Okay, so to remove that path, you can use this. Then remove directory, it is remove directories recursively. Okay, so these are some important functions that are inside this OS module, and these are actually used, you can use it for your convenient, like you're coding and you want to remove any Python file. You can directly go there, or you can switch to that Python file. Okay. Then rename, it is used to rename it. Source, then destination, it is actually the like the name, new name that you want to make it. Okay. Then remove the directory, it is you to remove or delete the directory path. Okay. So these like I have given the rough idea. Obviously you need to go and work with these important functions so that it will be more clear to you all. Now we are going to see about this very important module, and we have also seen this module in like when we were creating the mini project that was like generating a random number. Okay, so like this module basically, it has like this is built-in module, and it we can use this in many ways. Okay, and I thought that I should explain this because we have also seen this in our mini project, and let me just explain this. Okay, so yeah, so Python has a built-in module that you can use to make random numbers. Okay, even like you can use this for random numbers, or you can use this for actually like uh, generating any random values from the given list. Okay, so Python defines a set of functions that are used to generate or manipulate random numbers through the random module. Okay, so like there are some set of function inside this module. Okay, and it actually like it is used to generate the random numbers. Okay, so functions in the random module rely on a pseudo random number generator function, that is random function. It is actually inside this random module, which generates a random float number between zero point 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, these particular type of functions is used in a lot of games, lotteries, or any applications requiring a random number generation. Okay, so also we have seen one of the example. We have created the like mini project, and there we have seen about it. Okay, so basically this random function that is inside this random module. Okay, so it is actually it generates a random float number between zero point 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, so yeah, so what are the important functions that is inside this module? So we have random range, so returns a random number between the given range. We will first define a range, like suppose if I define the range as 0 to 9. So what will happen, it will actually return random number like from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 8. Okay, we know that. So random int, that means returns a random number between the given range, that should be integer type. Okay, then choice returns a random element from a given sequence. Okay, now till now what we were doing, we have actually used this function. Okay, if you remember in our mini project that we have created, the rock paper scissors game, there we have actually used this choice function from the random module, where we have used this choice function to actually choose the random value from the given sequence, whatever the sequence that we have defined. It was a list, I guess. Yeah. So it was a list of the rock, paper, scissors element. Okay. Now we have this random function. It returns a random float number between 0 and 1. Okay. So it is actually returning the float numbers. Okay. So these are the important functions. You can even use it in many applications. You can create games. You can even create some more mini projects. So explore, and I thought of explaining this topic, this module, because it's actually very interesting, and you can even create many interesting projects by this. Okay. So by this we come to the end of our video. I hope you guys are clear with the concept of modules and packages, as well as some very important built-in modules that were like OSs, and then we have also seen about the random module, and yeah, I guess now it is clear. So let's meet in our next video. Thank you.